Okay, good morning. Hey Mady, how are you doing? Yep, we just got the news for the retail sales number. Minus 3.2%. Seeing a big drop on the pound dollar. So Mady's asking whether we can do it. I'm getting started with that first. Yeah, we can do that. AKLE, how are you doing? How's everyone doing? We'll give it a minute before we get started. Everyone joining in. I see a lot of people joining in on TikTok as well. So welcome. Good to see you guys. And on TradingView, we're streaming as well. Good morning, Angel Caves. How are you doing? Big news, big surprise we just had for the UK retail sales number month to month. Down 3.2%. We'll get started in 1 minute as everyone is streaming in. Hey Pips Apprentice, good morning. Hey Diana, good morning. How are you doing? So if you're on the session, do remember, drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're here, let me know where you're joining us from. For all the regulars, a big welcome back. Good to have you with me. Today is the last session for the week. We will be back in next week as well. Thomas just asked for the pound yen. Yes, we can do that as well. So just a quick reminder as well, if you have any other particular pairs, be like Thomas, if you have any other particular pairs that you're looking for, put it into the chat, let me know. I'll be happy to do that for you guys. And any questions, put it in as well. And while you're at that, remember, click the like and subscribe button. Whichever platform you're viewing on, that would help massively. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. So now let's get started. Good big welcome. It is the 19th of January, Friday. Hope you're all well. Hope you've been trading well. We're almost done with the first month of the year. Almost done with the first month of the year. Hope your trading results have been good. Right? It hasn't been the easiest so far. Markets have been choppy, have remained choppy. So it hasn't been the easiest, but profitable. Well, based on our trade analysis, it has been profitable. So hope it has been for you guys as well. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. So please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. With that, let's keep going. Okay, so we just had, like Mady was asking, right? Mady was asking, can we do the pound first? Because we just had at 3 p.m. 4 minutes ago, the UK retail sales number being released. It was 1.3%, revised slightly upwards to 1.4%, expecting a minus 0.5. Very surprisingly went down by 3.2. So it got released at a minus 3.2%. Surprised me. This release surprised me because I was somewhat expecting a better number on retail sales, like I explained yesterday. Retail sales number in January reflecting December's possibly or hopefully higher activity because of the festive period. We should have seen a bigger number, but it got released at minus 3.2%. Looking into that, I want to see why is it a minus 3.2. Hey, it's not out. We don't have it out. That was November. Okay, it's not out yet. The report is not there. Why is the report not there? Let me see. I just want to see which sector was it that led to that big drop. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, no, that one. 3-month growth. Okay, we'll look at that one. Main points: retail sales volumes were estimated to have fallen by 3.2. Was the largest 4 years. Okay, non-food stores fell. Non-food store sales fell by 3.9. Food stores volume fell as well. Oh, it just looks like everything was down. Non-store retailing, online retailers fell as well, while fuel sales fell. Overall annual basis sales volume fell. It looks like it's just right across the board, all volume or sales volume dropped. There wasn't anything that was propping it back up. That's why we saw a minus 3.2% there for the UK. Okay, so looking at that news, now looking at the pound dollar, Diana was just saying GU works as I analyzed with the news holds that fair value area and going down. Yeah, yep, I agree. So it came up to, it took a long time. So it came up to that 50% area, traded down. I didn't catch this move. on the pound. And then it went up to, so this was our first scenario where it could push down. The alternate scenario, or the second scenario we're looking at, is for it to go up, test at 61.8, or you might also identify that as that fair value gap there. Okay, and then it tested, rejected, pushed down. Also, sorry, hang on a second. Also, because of the news, the retail sales, the negative 3.2% on the retail sales, we saw that before the news sitting just below 1.27, pushed down to now still trading lower. So Diana said shorted at 1.2710. Very good move. That was right there. I would say it's a super good move. I would have, if I didn't have this live stream on, I would have got in just before the news, trying to catch that as it rejected. So I would have got in just below 1.27, also because of a round number there. Okay, so now that it's pushing down, what we could distract ourselves during this period is that most likely we're going to see that push lower. I want to pay a bit of attention to the dollar index as well. Dollar index looks like it's pushing up slightly. So at this point, if you have not entered already, it's still good news is that it's still not shot down too much. Checking it, because of the news, I like to check it on a 15-minute time frame. You can see that it's almost 5 minutes to the close of the candle. It's possibly going to come back up a little bit. It's possibly going to sit there or come back up a little bit on the close of this 15-minute candle. So what I'm possibly looking for is that it could push back up a little bit and then turn back down. I want to pay a bit of attention. I can't draw that line. I want to pay a bit of attention to what's happening with my mouse today. I want to pay a bit of attention to that point. Right? This was yesterday's low point, so it might sit there, retrace a little bit, push down to yesterday's low at 1.2650. Dyna has it at 1.2645, I think because of that tail right there. That's 48. Might do that and then bounce back up and then push down again. Right? But all that is just based on this news. I don't think the news will be strong enough. This news will be strong enough to push it from even from here down that 60 pips. It will still need to be driven a bit more with that dollar strength to come, or possible dollar strength to come. Okay, so right now, if you haven't entered, don't rush in yet. It's 4 minutes to the candle close. I do think there might be a little bounce. You could look for that retrace before looking to sell down again. If you looked at it on 5 minute, it's sitting there. So yeah, might push a little bit lower, push back up, and then do that. So that's what we have. There are too many squiggly lines now. That's what we have on the pound dollar with that retail sales number released at minus 3.2%. With that, we'll look at pound yen. Thomas was asking for pound yen. We'll look at pound yen a bit later on after we've looked at the yen, the US yen as well. Okay. Angel Case was asking, can I do USD ZAR? I have not done that ever before, but because you asked, we can do that. We can do that. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. Okay, so now with that talked about, let's go back to see what has happened since the last time we spoke. We've done that at 9:30 last night. We had the US unemployment claims was 202, revised slightly up to 203. Expected 206, came out 187. It is about unemployment claims, so a lower number is better. That's why it's green. It is a good news, and that's why, well, it's a good news, but it's not super because it's a weekly number, and that's why at 9:30 p.m. GMT +8 last night, you would have seen that the dollar index was pushing up. It went from 103.37 up towards 103.62, set around that point before pushing back down. So almost exactly as we had anticipated, wait for retracement to complete, and it could retest 103.50. Just went up a little bit more than within that area before testing back lower again. Okay, so dollar index did well last night. I'll share with you one of the trades, or the one trade I got into from yesterday. Building permits was 1.46, revised slightly upwards, 1.47, 1.45. Again, another hint of a good news. Building permits being very important to indicate long-term or medium to long-term US economic health. So that's quite good to see, although it's not a big beat. It only went from 1.47 to 1.5. Still some positive numbers there. President Lagarde didn't say too much during the news event. All the way through to today, we just had the retail sales number. And then WEF annual meetings. WEF hasn't done too much for this week, so we're not going to be too worried about that. ECB, President Lagarde speaking, the global economic outlook. I think I said this yesterday, might bring about some volatility. I'm not super sure about it right now. Okay, I think that is possibly going to be a bit of a non-event again. Then on to retail sales and core retail sales for the Canadians. With what just happened for the UK, I'm going to be a little bit more dovish on this, thinking that retail sales number 0.7 expected 0 could be in a negative range here, right? Could be in a negative release here. Together with the core retail sales 0.6 to 0.1 also could be in the negative region there. So we might see the Canadian dollar weaken a little bit on the news release. And then we'll end the week with the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment, slight revision, 69.4 to 69.7, expected 69.8. I think it's going to stay below 70, and if it's below 70, it's good news. It's likely to be good news, but it's not going to have a big jump. I don't think it's going to lead to a big jump in the dollar index. Okay. Diana says, is it for the month of December? Yes, I think you're referring to the retail sales numbers. Yes, it is for the month of December. Okay, then, so you can see that for this today, not a lot more to look forward to apart from the CAD possibly going to weaken, maybe some further strength on the dollar. Doing a quick review or preview of what's going to come up into next week. One, pay attention to this is on Monday, it's going to be a bit of a breather because it's not much going to happen. But on Tuesday, we're going to have the Bank of Japan with their policy rate, the outlook, the CPI, the press conference, and the monetary policy statement. So Tuesday might be a big one for the Japanese yen. I'll tell you more about that on Monday as we prepare for that. Through to PMI numbers on Wednesday, interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada on Wednesday night, interest rate decision for the ECB on Thursday, and then core PCE for the US on Friday. So a lot of news to be had next week, which I hope is going to bring increased volatility, a bit more consistent move on the across the board, because you can see here dollar index for the last week, right? For this week, although it shot up, it's just set in that area there, and previously it was all in that consolidation. So it's been rangy. It's been trading in a bit of a range. I would like to see a more sustained breakout. It's going to definitely make trading a little bit easier for me and for you guys as well. Okay, hey Spiros, how are you doing? Hey OJ Meds, hey Atir, how are you doing? Now then, with that said, looking at the dollar index, we did that played out exactly as we had anticipated. It pushed up slightly a bit beyond that 103.50 level. Prince Philip OG just said, do you see a diamond pattern on dollar index and EU? I don't know the diamond pattern. Let me check. Diamond pattern. I'm just searching on it. Okay. I don't see that. Hang on, let me just check. Like that. Like that. And this, you know, I'm going to be straight with you guys. I don't know every pattern. I don't know everything about the markets. So I think you're talking about that. It's a terrible looking diamond. But is that the one you're referring to on the diamond on the dollar index? With that, what that's supposed to imply, I mean, I'm just referring to it on my other screen, is what that is supposed to imply is it pushes up, it tests higher, it came retraced, tests higher, and it's a lower low. lower high, right? So with that, then based on the textbook, anticipation is for a bearish diamond and for that to push lower. Okay, for that to push lower. I would not rule out that possibility. All right, I would not rule out that possibility for several reasons. So I'll take that away for now. For several reasons being that that's providing a bit of resistance. Okay, that downward line is providing a bit of resistance. That resistance level is providing a bit of resistance. Well, you know, as the word says. And you've seen it struggle a little bit. The dollar index has struggled to push higher over the last couple of days. So what I think, let me just do that again. What I think with that pattern, why I say that it's not very nice yet is I think that they might push up a little bit more before turning back down. Right? It might break from here, well and truly break from here to the downside, but I'm anticipating possibly another small push to the upside before trading lower. And why I think that, another reason is that you notice here on Monday, where is it? Monday, we started about right there. Okay, well, we ended the week about there. Monday, we started about 102.40. Let's say 102.40 on the dollar index. We saw a big push to the upside to 103.65, bounced around, it's now at 103.40. So basically, the dollar index moved up 100 pips. Given that within a week, and from previous experience, the dollar index moving up 100 pips, and it's a Friday, it's likely we're going to see a bit of a retracement, a bit of correction back down. Okay, we're going to see a bit of retracement and correction back down. And we've seen that quite often on Fridays where it pushes back down, so could happen. Okay, and with that, and also because there are no major news to be had for today through to Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday I might see that bounce back up already. Or if the yen strengthens, then we might see the dollar lose some ground. So in the short term, today through to early next week, yes, I do see that, and I'm actually anticipating that it might, I don't think it'll be a big drop. I think it might retrace back down to about that 103 level. Beyond that, could it get to 102.88 or 102.90? Maybe, but it would struggle a bit. Okay, let me just check something. I'm just checking this line as well. I'm checking this line as well. So if it breaks, now that it looks like it's breaking that point, right? So it could come down to that 103 area as a bit of a correction before maybe a push back up again. So it might come down to around that point there. Okay. Is it mean bearish? Yeah, that was the bearish one, right? So a diamond, just a bit of a sidetrack because we seem to be having that discussion there between Diana and Prince Philip OG, is that a diamond pattern, if I'm going to test my drawing, you have it like that as the price moving down, and then you have the diamond going like that. Terrible drawing, right? What this means is it's going to bounce around and then it's going to break to the upside. So first move is to the downside, consolidate in this area and then break up. Alternatively, if it moves this way, it was going up and then it tests, basically showing you that it's failing to break higher, right? I would have to redraw that. It first pushes up, then it tests, fails to break higher, forms a lower high, then you're going to see that break back down again. Okay, so quick. That was my 5-minute or 1-minute look into the diamond patterns, and that's how the textbook version of it will look. Again, it doesn't, and this is the thing about chart patterns. What was it? Pip's apprentice was saying I need to get more into patterns. The textbook version and what actually happens on the charts are not always going to match. Okay, so just be a bit more, just be careful with that. It's going to look a bit like that. Yeah, so it suggests, it doesn't mean that it will drop, but it suggests that the dollar index could drop like that. Okay, there we go. It suggests that the dollar index could drop because you see a high and then a lower high, and then it tests, it breaks back down. I'm actually thinking that, so what I think is that it could push up a little bit first before turning back down. I don't use chart patterns by itself, right? I would like to use chart patterns together with fundamentals, together with my own style, just looking at this as a resistance and then a correction back down before maybe, you know, late into next week push back up again. Okay, it's just a little bit of a visual aid to help you see that, hey, maybe it could be heading down. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it will happen, it's just a suggestion. Diana says some change in character. Yes, you can also say that it is a chalk, a change in character where it breaks down, comes into this area, and you might see that at that 50% level before pushing back up again. We're combining patterns with ICT, with trend analysis, support, resistance, all put it together, you can get better information. But there is a risk. Don't try and fit everything in because you might end up with too much information and get super confused. Okay, so words of warning aside, today is the 19th. We're looking at the dollar index. If it fails to break above 103.70, we could see a correction down to about 102.90 area. Okay, does that make sense? So if it fails to break above 103.70, then we're likely to see that trade down towards that 102.90 area, which is just about there. Alrighty. Yeah, just keep it simple as your chart. Yeah. When there's too many lines, I get annoyed as well, so we'll take that away. But thanks for spotting that, Prince Philip OG. It's always good that everyone, you know, share with me what you're looking at. I can help you make sense of it as well, and then we can add on as a different viewpoint. Now, with that, anticipating a bit of correction to the downside here on the dollar index. Look at that, pound dollar now retracing back up, right? Retracing back up, just watch out for that. But before that, we'll look at the Kiwi. So Kiwi from yesterday, that trade did not trigger. We'll take that one away. And remember, now that we are thinking we might see some retracement or correction on the dollar index after this week's move to the upside, we might see this as a bit of a bounce on the, so we might see the dollar lose some ground across the board. Overall move still valid to the downside. 23.6 is still held there. I wouldn't like to buy it back up. I would not like to buy it back up because it is counter trend. Now, looking at this, 50% is at the resistance area. That's there. Again, remember this is a counter trend trade. If it breaks, if the dollar index does correct, it has to correct to the downside first. You're looking, then you could look to push this up 0.6140, no more than 20 pips. Take profit 45 to the upside. I don't like counter trend. I can't say this enough. I cannot say this enough. Don't like counter trend trades, but this could be a setup. We'll put all the setups in and then we'll see which one we like the most. Okay, let's do that. So 6140, anticipating dollar weakness, we could be looking to buy at 0.6140, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 45 to the upside. There we go. Then onto the Aussie. Again, that trade did not trigger. Now I'll show you the difference between the Kiwi and the Aussie. On the Kiwi, it's been sitting in that consolidation, right? It's dropped a whole bunch. It dropped a whole bunch since Friday, and then it's set in a horizontal range Wednesday, Thursday, now on Friday, possibly remaining within the range. What we could be looking for here is for it to break up, but on the Aussie dollar, you would see that it's done a bit of that. Right, so it's dropped a whole bunch. It hasn't set across. It's actually, I'll move that in a little bit. It's actually pushing up right now. Right, it's in that small bullish channel pushing higher. Looking, identifying some key levels. It's 38.2, well, it's broken 23.6. We don't need that anymore. 38.2 is right there. What could happen here on the Aussie? Let's check something. Yeah, okay. What could happen to the Aussie is that it does this. It remains within the channel and slowly push to the upside. Okay, so it could just remain and continue doing that with no big push, but slowly grinding higher. With that, then I would be a bit more cautious because we have 38.2 right there. Bless you. We have 50. We have 61.8 right at that resistance level. What I would think, I'm more tended towards saying don't get into a trade on the Aussie, right? Because buying up, possibly Kiwi dollar has a good trade, has a good setup there. Aussie, you could look to buy above that high, but then you have 38.2 so near, 50 and 61.8 not very far away. A setup like that is also 45 pips. Stop loss would be also about 20 pips. I like the Kiwi dollar more. All right. 0.66, 20 to 45. Let's put that in, but stop loss 20, take profit 45. Then with that, between this two, I like the Kiwi dollar more. All right. Then onto the US yen. Onto the US yen. Looks like it was going to break higher, did not trigger, take that away. Did not retrace lower, so I did not get into the yen in that setup. What you would have here now on the US yen is that double top, right? We had that long-term view, and then in the near term we have again a double top formation. And with that double top, you have a trend line as well that's threatening to be broken. You have your support level there as well. Let me just do this. Okay, you have 23.6 there. You have a support. I like, although we have that point, and that's why I wanted to check that. We have this point here. I'll keep that one there. Okay. So what I could be looking out for here, this one, as much as I say I don't like a counter trend trade, I'll make a small circle here. As much as I say I don't like a counter trend trade, double top breaking a trend line, possible dollar weakness, counter trend on the pound, on the yen, 148. At 148, stop loss can be quite big. 40 pips, 45. You could go down to that point at 80 or 90 pips to the downside. I don't like that so much. I think we could go up a little bit. Let me just zoom in a bit more. I think we could get in a little bit earlier. No, you don't want to get in too early on this one. I would say 148. I would say your stop loss would be about 30 pips. And then your take profit would be 90 to the downside. Okay, if you're going to be absolutely safe, you get in below 147.75. But I think you can take a bit of risk here at 148. Breaking lower, that makes sense. Again, dollar needs to weaken on this scenario. So 148, 30 to 90 to the downside. Counter trend trade, double top. Sell 148, stop loss 30, take profit 90 to the downside. Okay. Dollar index, yes. I will just put that line there. There we go. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. All good so far. All right. I like that. That might be something quite soon. Hopefully not too soon, because we need to see that dollar break that level. I wouldn't be looking to rush into the yen if the dollar does not break lower strongly. Okay, so I would still be looking at, I rank this quite high on my list right now. Pound dollar, tested, push down, did not do that. Take away that one, take away some of these lines here. Too many lines. Okay. Good morning, Jamil. How are you doing? Jamil just turns up right when I said pound dollar. He logs in. Okay, pound dollar doing that. Right. This one, I would say you keep it as an alternate scenario in the event, or if the dollar index does push up. Right. I wouldn't be looking to sell this down. I wouldn't be looking to buy this up if we see the dollar weaken, because of that retail sales number. Right? Because of that retail sales number, we should be seeing the pound weaken. So I would say that if the dollar, and we like this move, if the dollar strengthens, on the scenario it strengthens, then, right, we've been looking at this and you go, oh, dollar, for example, it pushes to the upside, then you wouldn't be looking to buy the Kiwi or the Aussie or sell the yen. You could be looking to sell the pound down. No trade yet. I'm looking to buy. Only buy. You're looking to buy it up. I would differ a little bit on this. Right? It tested 61.8 8. And I'll take those away. And it's got that point there, or even that point there. So it needs to break that trend line. We spoke about this right at the news. 1.2670 stop loss, no more than 20 pips. No more than 20 pips. Take profit. You'd have 1:1, almost 1:1 here. 1:1.4, and then you could go down to 55 to the downside. If you look from other angle, it does higher high, lower high on G. Yes, higher high. So that I think so Diana just said if you look from another angle, it does higher high, lower high. Higher high, lower high. That one there. And then higher low, I think you meant. That one there. So it's pushing up. Yeah, you know, but there is that minus 3.2 on the retail sales number. It's pushing that way. It held 61.8. If it does break this trend line as an option, as a possible setup, if it does push up, then we have that big resistance there. It could push higher. I think that, right, it could get to that point there. Wait, why doesn't it happen to click? Okay, it gets there. I would look at that as an option, right? As an option, yes, if it breaks above 61.8, 1.2725, take profit, 55, stop loss, also no more than 20 pips. You could also do that. I think I think I will agree. Okay, now I agree with you guys. Officially, I would agree with you guys. There is that upside potential, but I would look out for that potential move down, just because we have everything here looking to on that dollar weakness scenario. I want to keep that available as a dollar strength scenario. Okay. But yes, there is an upside potential. 1.2670. Stop loss 20, take profit 55. 1.2670. Stop loss 20, take profit 55. Okay. Jamil says if it does break support there, take a TP. So I take a sell otherwise, but yeah, it all comes down to what it's going to do at that point, right? If it breaks that trend line, it's going to hit lower. If it breaks that resistance, you're looking to buy. You have that two options there. I'll put in this one as well, 1.2725, 20 to 55 as well. Okay, there we go, or 1.2725. I generally don't like to put a buy or sell just because it looks like I'm covering everything, and someone's going to say, oh, you're telling me to buy and sell. Of course, you're going to get something right. So try and stick my neck out on it sometimes. There we go. Okay. I would look out for the sell option with a little bit more priority. It's definitely not a time to take a trade right now. It's waiting time right now. Okay, then on to the euro. I think Mehdi was who was asking whether I'm watching the euro. This was something we were sharing right during the session. We said, okay, it's going to go up, test. I'm going to sell it back down. That was our 3 o'clock period. At 4, I think I posted it up in the Discord channel. Again, the link is there for you guys to join on Discord. The Discord post was about that point where I was looking to sell it down. I did get into that trade. I also had my reference point there. So I did close out. I think I closed out at 29. I closed out at 29 because what happened was it came down and then it started bouncing and then I closed out. So not a big move there on the euro, but it played out. We had caught only 29. I'll keep that there. Anyone caught the euro? Let me know. Diana says make you confused. No, it doesn't. Yeah, a little bit. Confuses a little bit, but it just looks like I'm trying to be too safe by covering all the options. Okay, we have that. That's fair. That's a double bottom. You see here, that double bottom being formed, pushing back up. I would be careful on the euro. Well, I'm careful. I would be careful all the time, but particularly on the euro now is because you can see that it came up to 38.2. Even if I caught this move here, 38.2 or just below. So if it does break up, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell the euro down. I don't want to buy the euro back up. I would let the euro retrace. If the dollar is going to push down and the euro is going to push up, then I would prefer to let it retrace, complete the retracement, see where it is, then look to sell it back down. Okay, so that, let's put 61.8 there. So that's what I would be looking for. No trade on the euro. I wouldn't get into anything too crazy now. Euro, I would be do nothing, wait for retracement to complete. There we go. You could buy it up. You could buy it up depending on the style of your trades. If you're happy to take the risk, but I would prefer to look for it to go back up wherever it does and then turn back down. You could be looking to sell at rejection of that point, or when it comes back down at that point again. Okay. Jamil lost 40. It's okay. 40 pips is from the withdrawal that you just did. 40 pips is part and parcel of trading. One good news, my withdrawal just come to my bank account. That's fantastic. I love it. Isn't it a nice feeling when you click withdraw and you see the numbers change on your bank account? It's one of the best feelings ever. Okay, we did pound dollar. It's still sitting in that range. It's not moving. Doesn't seem like it's moving anywhere in a hurry. Anticipating maybe a push lower. US yen looking like a double top, looking like it could push lower. So now with the pound yen, all right, we saw that. I was looking for it to move up and test and come down. I would maintain this view. We did this on Thursday yesterday. I think Thursday yesterday or Wednesday. All right, we have that channel pushed up, looking for it to push back down. I'll maintain this view on the pound yen. I would still only be looking to sell below 1.188, not 1.8, 188. So it's coming close. You could even be looking at a 70 pip stop, take profit, maybe even a 30, 35 pip stop loss. So it breaks down, the momentum pushing it lower, that setup, and then we could see it come down to 23.6 right there. Okay. Hope I answered your question there, Thomas, on the pound yen. Then euro we've done, Swiss Diana, I know we will do Swiss yen as well. US Swiss franc did push up. It did push up. It's sitting right at the top there right now. Again, dollar index possibly pushing lower. We could see that push lower, which is going to likely lead to the Swiss franc or the Swissy push lower. Again, quick reminder, if you are on the session and you're new to the session, drop a message and say hi. Do click that like and subscribe button or follow button. That would help massively. I really appreciate that. You're most welcome there, Thomas. Pips Apprentice says, I hope one day I can experience this feeling. Yes, I'm sure you will. Just keep with it. Buba says, what if the euro forms a double top again? Is there option to sell there? Euro double top, so it comes up to that point. You would have to see what happens on the dollar index, right? I think that if the dollar index does break down, it might form a double top, but if the dollar index does push down, we're likely to see this blast past this top. Okay. Now US Swiss franc. So I hope I answered your question there, Buba. US Swiss franc pushed up, set right across, break that trend line to trade down. I don't need that anymore. We can take that one away. I catch that as my support level. Because of what happened here, it could trade down. So about 20 something, 23 pips to 30 pips. I don't like it as a trade. I don't like it as a trade to the downside because you could be looking at 20 pips, but it's only a 30 pip profit towards that support level. Check the Fib levels. And you possibly will have 23.6 right there. So that's the kind of downside potential for the US Swiss franc, but possibly not tradable. Okay. So I would say US Swiss franc could trade low, could move lower, but not H1 setup. Okay. Jamil just said pound pushed up one buy candle, so I'm in. Pound dollar, I know you're on the 5-minute time frame. It's pushed up there, you're in. I would be very cautious. Looking at the 5-minute on that point. You see that it's come up to 38.2. It might push up a little bit more before turning down. I still think that I'll still maintain that downside potential view, the view of the downside potential. Okay, so US Swiss franc could hit lower, bit of strength to come for the Swissy, and then US yen potentially going to hit down quite a bit. Looking at the Swiss yen, we spoke about this yesterday, pushed down, went straight back up again because of the Swissy pushing, the US yen pushing up as well. Now, at this point, you can take that one away. I think that's 61.8 right there. Right, came down to 61.8. So what you would have, we've been looking at the Swiss yen almost daily now because of a special request from Diana, is that the Swiss yen, what I'm gathering is that it pays a lot more attention. It seems to react a lot more to Fib levels, right? It seems to react a lot more to the Fib levels compared to some other currency pairs. So that's something that I'm noticing. Right, it came down to that 61.8 level, and then bounced right back up. Right, so this one came to 50, bounce up, broke, bounced 61.8, bounced right back up. Now looking like it's going to break lower, most likely because of what's happening here on the US yen. That one's moved a little bit, so I would say that if it breaks that support, then 170.68, take profit. No, sorry, I don't want that. I would say that don't do anything here, right? Because it's going to be choppy. If it does break down, then you would look for the safer option, right? The safer option I feel would be 170.40, stop loss 20, take profit, could be that 50 pip to the downside. I do not think that it's going to head lower, but I think that it's a bit awkward here. So we look for it to break the previous low before we could see significant downside. But it does lower high and lower low. I don't know what's the lower low. I think that I see that, so I think, you know, that's holding it down. And then I see that holding, so I see that combination again, right? And that's why I think it's going to bounce around. It could very well do that before heading lower. I'm scribbling a bit too much, but just to show you what I think could happen, it could bounce around and do that. So I wouldn't do anything unless it breaks below that 61.8, that previous low at 170.40 before I'll see that downside. And yes, like Jamil says, it's a bit of a rangy market. No trade on the Swiss yen unless it breaks 170.40. Okay. Suyun said, I'm in gold. Buy gold trade is counter trend. Let's have a look at gold after CAD. So remember, tonight we do have CAD retail sales number 0.7 to 0, core retail sales 0.6 to 0.1, possibly looking at this being in the negative range, possibly quite similar to what we saw here for the UK. If that's in a negative range, then take that away for now. That head and shoulder could play out, but it's going to take a bit longer. It's right at the support. Dollar index, look, it bounced back up. It's just sitting there. So remember I was saying that dollar index I think could do that before it hits lower, but it's still sitting there right now. That could push down on dollar weakness, but CAD weakness is going to push this back up. The thing here is I cannot, as much as I just deleted it, I cannot ignore that shoulder, head and shoulder pattern with that neckline there. Right, and because of that, I would still be looking, I'll still maintain that view on the short 1.3460, stop loss 25, take profit 55, pushing down maybe 1.3455, stop loss 20. Okay, so why I'm taking a bit lower is just thinking that yes, the dollar index could head lower now. News about retail sales could push the CAD back up a little bit. And then after that, we could see the dollar take into effect and hit lower again. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking there. 1.3455, 2250. 1.3455, 2250. Okay, good stuff. Alrighty. Now, lucky last is on gold. Right? It did not, so it went up, did not test and reject because of that dollar pushing back down. So dollar pushing down, gold pushing up, it makes good sense. Yes, it is a, so Suyin asks, gold buy trade is counter trend. It is a counter trend trade. If this does push down, then naturally you'll be looking at this pushing up, right? You'll be looking at this pushing up. 2030 to 2042. Just an interim, so you're just going to catch this and push up. What's likely to happen is a bit of a test and then a push back up. So 2030 to 2042, gold could retrace a little bit before pushing back up. So gold, if break above 2030, could trade up to 2042. Alrighty. There we go. Thank you so much, Dinah. You're most welcome. Hope you have a great trade and a happy weekend ahead. And that's gold. Looking at that. Okay. So with that said, yes, it is the end of the week. I hope you trade well, trade safe. Remember, we're looking at maybe some correction back down on the dollar index. Please help me out. If you haven't already, click that thumbs up button. If you're on, and that subscribe button. If you're on TikTok, click follow. You're going to send gifts and diamonds. I would appreciate that as well. And on TradingView, remember to click that like and that little rocket ship button as well. Thank you, Jew Marinas. Thank you, Pips Apprentice. Thanks, Jimmy. Please have a good weekend. Trade well, trade safe. I'll see you all Monday. Same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.